Welcome to the Where's the Focus podcast. WTF is an entertaining yet educational ride with top guests from every industry. Knowing where your focus goes, your energy flows. Hosted by top-selling author, sought-after speaker, leading coach, and high-level executive in the financial industry, Daniel Manginelli. So, WTF.
WTF, welcome back to the Where's the Focus podcast. Thank you.
What do you want?
Wow, Jen. I just kind of want people to subscribe, I guess. I don't necessarily
well,
have.
That's exactly what you want.
Necessarily have a want or a need. That was kind of rude.
Sorry.
It's April, Jen. What do you think, producer Jen?
April 4th.
It's April 4th.
How
and you know what? Easter's coming. Thank you, Easter Bunny. Buck, buck. You still don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
Oh, I'm very upset that you don't know what the Easter Bunny and the Cadbury egg
I'm going to
thing
Google
is.
it.
Could you?
After.
Because it's funny.
Yeah.
The little kids go, thank you, Easter Bunny. Buck, buck. All right, today you're going to want to subscribe and you're going to want to like and you're going to want to comment. I just feel it. We have a great guest. So stop babbling, Jen. Enough of the babble, okay?
I'm not even saying anything.
Yeah, I'm done babbling. You're over babbled. I want to get to it. I want to get to this exciting guest.
So do I. Can you stop babbling?
Not only one of the greatest realtors I know, but even more one of the best.
You don't know very many of them, do you?
Easy now. And maybe one of I'm going to put you back on mute. And maybe one of the best humans I've ever met, a true community man. With over 20 years of experience selling real estate hitting record numbers, he's also the director of operations at Remax Premier in Irvine, California. Over 5 years on the board of Realtor committees. He's an Ironman Triathlete, people. That's a big deal. Jen just found out. He's involved with Team Kids, a local organization with a mission to empower our children to change the world. And the host of the Agent Playbook podcast, my pal for over 20 years, Nestor Herrera.
Okay.
And the kids go wild, Nest.
Oh, thank you.
Look at that.
You're still freaking me out because for 20 years you haven't called me that. So, yeah, I know. We're not supposed to get into that, but whatever.
Nestor, that's your name. That's what I'll only call you. First off, I appreciate you just calling me from a tunnel. Is there cars driving by you? Or are they
no cars. Did our audio change?
No, our audio didn't change. Just have a lot of background noise. It's okay. You have a podcast and you have a studio back there. I've seen it. So I know that, it's all right. If you want to do it from your office, that's okay.
I'm doing it from the office, absolutely.
All right. So let's jump into it.
Is this how this is going to go?
Be nice to the host. I'll cut you off right here. I'll tell you right now. Game on.
I've got it in with Jen. She'll get me back.
Yeah, she'll keep you on and cut me off. All of a sudden, the mic will go off.
Should I mute him now?
All right. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about real estate because that's what people want to know about. Not really, but that's what people want to know. And I think this is on the Where's the Focus, where your focus goes, your energy flows. What got you into actually sales or real estate when you first got in?
Oh, gosh. What got me into real estate? You know what? I was in Northern California making a move to Southern California, and I said it was time for a change, and I decided I wanted a different job.
What were you doing in Northern California?
I was running a warehouse up there, so I was basically director of operations for James River at the time. So I shipped a lot of paper all over California.
Like The Office.
Exactly. Different type of paper. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, mostly the toilet paper, paper towels.
Different kind of paper. Exactly. And then you got into real estate because it was using toilet paper and real estate sales are synonymous with each other.
I was looking for freedom. I was looking to be outdoors, and wanted to set my own schedule. How'd that work out?
And it worked out. I mean, I think that obviously it's been 20 years. Can you believe that?
No, time flies.
It does.
That is crazy.
So let's go with the big question that everybody wants to know about real estate. What is going on? What's going on with the market? Where's the properties? What's the interest? What's going on?
Well, there is no inventory. The market is probably I haven't seen this market, I don't think ever, to be honest with you. I mean, right now we're looking at the lowest inventory probably prediction since 2012. But you factor in the total number of agents that I'm seeing in the industry right now is at an all-time high, and I've got the perfect storm for there's going to be a lot of disruption going on in the industry right now. So from a real estate perspective, if you're an agent out there, hold on. Sellers, they're still getting their price just because of low inventory, even though the interest rates went up and things of that nature. They're still holding tight and getting their price. I call it a showdown. I feel like every time I'm out there with the buyers are, we're waiting, and the sellers are, we're waiting over here too, and somebody's got to give in sooner or later. So we're just sitting there looking at the big old showdown and who's going to pull the trigger first.
Yeah, I think I just read that there's over 202,000 licensed real estate agents in California.
Yeah.
And I think the listings were in about the 64,000.
Correct.
So if you do the math there, that's probably not one per agent. That's for sure.
Correct. Well, you add on top of that probably, I would say, if I was looking at the numbers right now, 25% of the people in our industry are doing about 75% of the business.
Yeah.
So you factor that in, there's really nothing left for those that are really not treating this like a business.
Right. So not that this podcast is an uplifting podcast. So let's go in a different direction. I listen, it's not an if, it's a when. We know this market's going to turn. And I also know that, I think it's a position of where we are. Unfortunately, it's probably going to take till the economy says we're in a recession. Interest rates will come down. The 10-year, should make the interest rates lower than they are. It's just the, job. This is the first day today, and we do this on Tuesday, where it seemed like there weren't as many jobs available. So interest rates came down a little bit more, but it's not an if, it's a when. And I think that the question I have next for you is, in that case, if I'm getting in real estate, or I'm a realtor right now, because you do coach a lot of real estate agents in your office, what does it take to be successful in real estate? What do I need to do then?
Oh, great question. First of all, when somebody asks me that, the first thing I do is encourage them to do something else.
So there's more business for you. That's great. Way to go. Other people don't have to lose.
Perfect plan.
Other people don't have to lose for you to win. I'm just telling you, that's not the way to live.
No,
you're
it's
tremendous.
Not, but too often in this industry, I see everybody painting a pretty picture and that everything's all rosy and this is simple. I was watching a shot the other day from somebody on Instagram, and she's like a year and a half into the business, and she's had a little bit of success, and great business to be in as a side hustle, do it part-time, do this, and I'm all like, are you kidding me? You can't welcome that into this industry. That's not, that mentality will not get it done, and it doesn't work, and unfortunately that's a lot of what I see. So let's assume that you've got the you truly really want to treat this as a business and do it that way. It can be done, but it's going to take time. It's going to take hard work. I mean, you were with me in the beginning. Shit, my first year in the business, what? Dan, can I borrow money? Because it wasn't going well. So that's reality.
It is reality. And yes, I did give you the money. That's okay. But I just charge you like 17% interest weekly. But
it's still compounding, everybody.
It's like someone got it back, right? What I really wanted to get, I put you on my taxes. What I really wanted to get out is, to be successful in any sales whatsoever. It's just not a get rich quick business. It's just not. You have to. There's goes into the pumping and pumping and pumping before water comes out. And I think that there is a floor plan. I mean, you could go to anybody and say, what does it take to be successful in real estate? Well, great. You need to knock doors. You need to talk to people. You need to go to your sphere of influence. You have to constantly be touching people and constantly be in front of somebody, letting them know that you're in real estate. And then you have to, do something that people don't like to do, is get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're going to have to meet a lot of people. The crazy thing, a stat that we just went through, Nestor, is right now in, the United States, the age range from 25 to 35. There's more now than there was even when there was baby boomers. So that peak of what they've came up and said, this is when people buy real estate, between that 25 and 35. There's more in the United States now than ever. Not necessarily like when it was, there's more than ever. So people want to buy real estate. It's just going to take the market to be different. And I'm not going to say turn, where rates have to go down and values have to come down. I think it's just going to be different. It's an inventory issue right now, and that'll change, because it's not an if, it's a when, and it will take that.
It is. From our perspective, though, Dan, there's business to be had out there, and there is the business that's out there. And you said it. I say it a little differently. Consistency. You got to be consistent in this business. Yeah. Tenacity, you've got to be tenacious in what you do, and probably the one that most people overlook and don't spend any time in is skill building. They do not take the time to build their skills, their sales skills, or whatever it is. that you're doing and the things that are involved in this business, they don't take the time to do that.
So how does coaching and accountability, why is that important then? So where does that come into play when you're talking about being in sales or just in anything? I mean, in coaching and accountability.
You want to succeed. I mean, every good player, every great player, let's forget the good players, every great person in any profession that they're in, they've got a coach. They've got somebody that's holding them accountable. And accountability, some people look at accountability as, hey, who's that person that you're going to call that's going to beat you up when you don't do the things that you're doing? That's BS. Accountability for me is, hey, who's your biggest cheerleader that's out there? Who is the one that's going to pick you up when things are down? Who's the one that's, tough love, yeah, but the right kind of tough love. We know when we're not doing things that we're supposed to be doing. We don't need somebody else to tell us that and beat us up over it. We're looking for that person that's going to be the rah-rah, hey, let's go get this done. And the real accountability people, hey, let me walk the walk with you. That was one of the ways that's where our relationship developed. Dan didn't just say, hey, do this. You walk the walk with me.
Yeah, and I think that brutally honest is important. I think if you're going to have a coach or an accountability, someone's got to be brutally honest, not in a way to put you down, but to coach you up.
Correct.
You need those people in your life to say, like, what you're doing is not working. And that's okay, but you're doing something, because most people aren't doing anything. So at least you're doing something.
True.
Now let's build on what you're doing and make it better. And that's kind of the key of what you're talking about in any kind of coaching and accountability. And we spent a lot of years together doing goals and doing different things to put you in place and ourselves in place to be successful. But it's not easy, and that's the important part. That I don't want anybody to think that it's just that easy. And when you talk about not easy, and I'm going to relate this to something that's crazy right now, is that you actually did an Ironman Triathlon and you completed it.
Easy.
No. So you had to train for that. And just so people don't know, if they don't know who's listening right now and the WTFers out there, an Ironman is how many miles of swimming?
2.4 miles swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run.
And a 26.2 miles is a full marathon.
Yes.
Just so people don't know. So in that day, you're waking up, you're swimming 2.5 miles, then you jump on a bike and you ride that for 100 and something, and then you decide to run 20 some odd miles and finish that. So when you're talking about coaching and accountability, how does training for something like that commit the same way as selling or doing the commitment you have to do to sell?
Trust the process. So I mean, when I went in for the Ironman, that was a challenge that I put on myself, and there was some other stuff that was going on in life, and a lot of people don't know, I really didn't know how to swim. I mean, I self-taught myself how to swim on YouTube videos for that event, but it was really about trusting the process. The run, I know the run. I've been running all my life. That part was fairly easy for me with regard to kind of knowing what I needed to do. Cycling as well, but the swim, I had no clue. And I literally went to the experts, and for me, the experts were going online, doing my homework, and I signed up for this dumb program. Well, it wasn't a dumb program because it got me through, but I signed up for this program that literally put my calendar in place for the next 6 months and said, you're going to wake up and you're going to do this today, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do this for the next 6 months. And when you get done with that, go do the race and you'll be just fine. And
so go back to trusting the process, because that is phenomenal when you're talking about sales. Because when you make a call, you don't get a sale right away. You knock on a door, you don't get a sale right away. When you call someone on the phone, they're not just saying, hey, I was waiting for your call to use you. So you have to trust the process, that you have to do it over and over and over, and what you're doing is going to work.
Correct. Absolutely. And so often people want it today, or they want it now. I mean, the Ironman, I was training for something that was going to occur 6 months later, 7 months later. We make sales calls today, or we door knock today. I didn't sell a house. Yeah. Again, trust the process. Go out there and do it again.
If anybody gets anything out of today, trust the process in whatever you're doing. Because when things don't work the first time, you just have to trust the process to know that it works. You had something that specifically said, like, you do these actions, and by the end of these actions, you'll be an Ironman. And you trusted the process every way. You could have said, no, I don't want to run that way, or I'm not going to get in the pool now because that's not the process. No, you trust the process and you do things. That's, again, if anybody gets anything from today, trust the process that you're in from the people that have been successful, and just do what they do. When I started in sales in general, Tom Hopkins was one of the first books I read, and he said, found the most successful person in your industry and just do what that person does. And I went, well, that's the easiest thing I've ever heard in my life. If I just go find the most successful person and just do what that person does. And I had to trust the process. That's exactly what I did, and I followed what that person did. I didn't understand that everybody else wasn't doing that. I thought everybody was doing it that way. So when you're young and you don't understand, it's a great thing because you're naive, but you trust the process that's going to work. That's
exactly.
I love that.
I wouldn't say it's easy. I'd say it's simple. Yeah, I say the process is simple of what we have to follow, but it's if you're looking for success, it's not easy.
Look at you listening to the podcast, knowing that I did a whole episode on simple, not easy. Attaboy.
I pay attention.
Way to come through. Do you remember how we met?
Do I remember how we met? Yeah. You fired my client. Made her cry. My first lender of choice no-showed me, and you happened to be walking through the halls, and then 30 minutes later she was crying in the lobby, and I was thinking, oh my God, I really got myself into this business. This is crazy. So, yeah.
Well, I was just honest. I was kind of a veteran at that time. This is way back when. And I just happened to be making office calls as I usually would every single day. And you said, hey, meet my client. And then I came back and said, whoever told you she qualifies, she doesn't, buddy. Sorry.
Well, not for the house that we had just got the offer accepted on.
Go find another house.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Call me if you get another buyer. I'll talk to you later.
She called, or she cried, and then my next phone call was calling the listing agent saying, hey, the escrow we just opened is about to cancel. So,
but if you think about it, better than 30 days, 45 days down the road.
Absolutely.
That was the time to pull the trigger.
It was a hard lesson.
If you were to pinpoint one or two things as we kind of, talk about this, that a salesperson that they would need to be, like what is it, the traits of a top salesperson that you see over and over?
Never quit, never give up. So it goes back to, you were there at the Ironman, and you remember when I got in the water. I was easy to find because I was the last person to get in the water. It was like everybody else. You
mean every time the kayak would come up to you and say, "Are you still going? Are you still going to do this?" Okay,
still going.
I'm going. I got
absolutely. Okay. But one of the other things that I got out of that day was, you just keep going. It's that simple. Take the next step. In that particular case, it was take the next swim stroke and just keep going. If I wasn't going to hit the time limit and get out of the water in time, that was one thing. But I wasn't gonna be pulled back in because I just decided I was done and I turned around. It was just keep on going and just keep on going, and that's it. And I think too many people, they give up too soon.
They not only quit, they try to find a different way that doesn't work, right? They try to find something, I don't like actually talking to people face to face, and now I'm just going to send a bunch of emails or texts. When we said trust the process of making phone calls.
Trust the process, and I will give, I'll give merit where merit is. There's a bunch of different ways to build this business right now. But what happens is, hey, I want to build it this easy way, what's easy for me and what's comfortable for me, but I also don't want to put a lot of effort into it, or I don't want it to take too long. If it's really difficult, if it's really uncomfortable, it'll probably give you faster results. If it's not uncomfortable, hey, get on Instagram all day long and post. Will somebody eventually buy a house from you because you're doing that? Sure. But it's going to take a whole lot more effort than it is that if I'm actually going out there and circle prospecting or door knocking or doing those belly to belly activities, calling up my past clients or my center of influence and truly having conversations with them.
Right. Two things that, we're talking about top salespeople, as we said, one, trust the process, and then everybody needs to go back and watch Finding Nemo. Okay, Jen, you'll know this one.
Yeah,
Finding Nemo. You see where I'm going? Yeah. Okay, you're Finding Nemo because there's a scene in Finding Nemo where Dory looks and he just tells her, just keep swimming. And she goes, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And that's how you be successful. You just keep going right through all the jellyfish. Then you don't get stung. You just keep swimming because it's when you stop and you realize that the fear of all the things around you and it's not working out. But if you just swim through, you're going to get to the other side.
Exactly.
Jen?
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that information.
That's more in your age group.
It really is. Okay, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You see the scene right now. I'm with you. We're both the same age, so we're right at that age group where we've watched Finding Nemo growing up, or maybe I was watching it with my kids. That's about
that sounds
there.
On that note, one of my other things is don't be in denial. Dan, it doesn't sound like you guys are in the same age group.
That's to be successful. Stop lying.
Yeah, stop lying to yourself. Don't be in denial, people.
Just because we're going to run up against it because people don't like listening to podcasts longer than 37 seconds, I find out. So with that, hey, you know what I did find out there, Nestor? I found out my last podcast I called the BBL.
Okay.
And it was, behaviors, beliefs. It was beliefs, behaviors, and lifestyle. But I got a whole bunch of people on the internet letting me know it's Brazilian butt lift. That's what it stands for. So just in case you're out there and you're listening, thank you for the feedback that I did not mean Brazilian butt lift.
Do you need a doctor?
I did.
I can find one for you.
I don't need one. And as a matter of fact, it stood for my BBL, which was beliefs, behavior, and lifestyle. So guys, keep the comments coming because it's awesome. But thanks for the banter. No, I don't need any BBL on that type of BBL. Hey, something that you do that's important, and I wanted to bring this up, Nestor, is each year you hold kind of a shred and an e-waste event. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's one of our community events. So part of our geographic farming is always serving the community and giving back to the community. So it is an e-waste shred event. You can bring as much paper as you want, get shredded on site, as well as e-waste, old TVs and anything that's not working, electronics. I do this in collaboration with veterans. So it helps employ our local veterans as well. And actually, I do it twice a year now. So the event's so popular, we actually do it twice a year.
And it's coming up when?
The 22nd of this month.
April 22nd.
April 22nd, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the Remax parking lot. So just, I'm getting old. Sometimes things just don't come to my head as quickly.
I have to find out when I try to promote stuff for you. I appreciate that. Okay. So just in case it's an issue, and how much does that cost me to bring my stuff there to get shredded?
It's free. And for people like you even get phone calls from me and saying, hey, I'll even come pick it up. It can't be on the day of, but
that's true. It does support the local community and the veterans as well. So April 22nd, and the Remax address is
5299 Alton Parkway in Irvine, California.
So if you're around from April 22nd from 8:30 to 5-ish, I believe there, just bring it.
8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
So you bring it there at 5, he'll still be there. Trust me.
I probably will be.
But it'll probably just be the trunk of his car that you just have to set it in. Well, that's okay. So at that time, drop your stuff off. It actually is a great way to get rid of stuff that you're afraid of, that someone's going to, you have an old laptop, you have an old something that you're afraid that, whatever's on it, have some private information, they're going to waste it and shred it right then and there, so you don't have to worry about any of those things, especially like old documents. A lot of us are afraid to throw away the old documents. We don't have our own shredders. They bring a whole bag over there and they'll shred it right there on site, which is a great thing to do for the community. The other thing is, how about your podcast? How do we find
the Agent Playbook? Yeah.
Yeah. How do we find that?
You just go on YouTube. You go on wherever. It's everywhere. It's kind of like you.
Everywhere. I'm going to get my Agent Playbook people to. Now I'm part of the WTF. It's going to be exciting. Hey, something you do before I kind of want to do this, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, is you do a weekly role play with other agents in your office, and that's part of the coaching and the accountability that we're always talking so much about. And you do a role play to help them kind of overcome the objections that maybe happen during the week, the month, or what do I say if this happens? And again, consistency is important, but following the path of success of someone else is really important. And if you could collaborate in that way with some accountability of other people, tell me a little bit about that.
So I do role play once a week. It's on Friday mornings, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And you are correct. I start every single role play with what objection did you have or did you that occurred in this last week. And what was it about? That person usually plays the role of the other person that they had the objection with. And then the agents or whoever's participating have the opportunity to be that agent or that real estate agent in that scenario. Gives that agent different perspectives on what they could have said or different ways to handle things. Once we go through that, I usually talk about some skill techniques and things of that nature of just basic learning to listen is probably the biggest one. Is what it's about. Is people I find don't listen enough to truly handle the correct objection. Yeah. They hear an objection, but they don't hear the right one.
And following successful people that done stuff in the past that overcome the objections to give the right answers is really important. Now, if I'm going to put you on the spot, if I was in real estate and I wanted to join in on a Friday, would you allow that?
Absolutely, it's open to anybody. I don't care if you're in real estate or not. The more the merrier. I've got lenders that come in. I've got people that are coming in. Actually, we've got a few people from Northern California that are in every now and then. From Nevada, nobody from out of the country yet. But yeah, always welcome to join us. I can send you the link. You can drop it down in the chat, and I'm happy. It's just a Zoom link that we send out every week.
I take advantage of it. I mean, a lot of people want to have some accountability and some coaching, and this is kind of free in the sense where you could be with other people to help overcome the objections that our business in general has. Where can people get in touch with you to ask you about real estate or doing an Ironman or how not to drink so much on a plane?
Whoa! Where did that come from?
What? What are you talking about? I didn't say what. Is there something?
I don't recall that event. Yes. So
usually when someone pukes on a plane, they make it to the bathroom. I'm just saying that.
I made it to the bathroom. That was you. You're like an elephant. That was like 19 years ago.
Like an elephant.
That was when you were like 45.
Here's the deal: when you get puked on, you really don't forget those days. Okay, when you're on an airplane and someone throws cocktails all over your shoulder, those things you don't forget.
So everybody, if you truly want to go into stories, there are so many stories.
Let's go back to how to get in touch with you about real estate.
That's what I thought. Yeah. We both hold the key to the vault.
Your key might open up a little bit more of a door. So let's just wrap it up. Let's do that.
The best way to find me is honestly Nestor and Michelle, at Nestor and Michelle, on Instagram, on Facebook, any one of those. You can find me there on social media. As far as wanting to contact me with regard to the Ironman or anything like that, you know what? I'm open to anything.
At Nestor and Michelle, right, on Instagram or any other place. At Nestor and Michelle. And is there an end in there, or Nestor and Michelle?
Yeah, A-N-D.
Nestor and Michelle. At Nestor and Michelle. And A-N-D. Thank you.
Yes, I checked those DMs.
Luckily, you spelled "and" for me. It was going to be a tough one. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the spelling test. Good one. Well, we got to wrap this up. Jen, what do you think? What do you think about today?
That was great.
Do you think it was great?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I do have a question. I just want to say,
what's the
Nestor?
question? Yes.
I had to Google what an Ironman Triathlon was, and I was mind blown. I did not know what it was.
Right.
And I just,
we're really educated here on the WTF. So
you know what?
We keep it real where she actually thought, wait a second, so he put that suit on and flew through the air and fought
I've never
crime?
heard of it.
He fought crime? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the movie did mess up the...
Has he saved people before? Is it... How does he fly with his hands and his feet rest rockets?
Absolutely.
Oh, he did learn how to swim.
No, I don't consider that swimming. I saw it. I was there. That was not a swim.
I got to the end.
You did. I went home, took a nap. I played a round of golf. Went home, took a nap, came back, and my buddy was finishing. Perfect time.
All day. Oh God.
All day.
Yeah.
And why didn't you do it?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, you went back to make sure he made the end.
I think she had a question.
No, I do have a question because I myself am running a 5K, which is not the same in any level, but this is my very first one, and I don't run.
I think you start somewhere, and I think it's first of all, the professional.
Yeah,
it's
please.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You done, Dan?
Well, I was going to tell her. I was going to kick her out of the studio here and have her start running. I was going to start chasing her for 3.5 miles and realize it's not that far. It's not.
I'm not. I don't run. I barely walk anyway.
That's okay. Dan was going to probably answer the question the same way I would. And honestly, it's as simple as pulling up a system online, and there's plenty of them out there from, couch to 5K. And for you, I would plan on, if you haven't run at all, I'd plan on being, I would say at least 9 to 10 weeks before you do the 5K, and you should be just fine.
And trust the process.
And
Trust the process. Yes, when you guys were talking about that, I was like, I just need to trust the process.
That's
Exactly.
it. Just follow the
Exactly.
script of how to run a 5K.
And before you know
You
it,
put
marathons.
one foot in front of the other. And
I have a goal. I
soon
wanna
you will
finish
be
it
running
out.
a 5K.
Don't make fun of me. Next thing you know,
That's not
I'm
funny
going
to
to be doing this Ironman. You don't know. Iron Woman.
Well, I don't.
Well,
That's,
Dan and I did not an Ironman, but a triathlon together.
Yes, we did.
Once. Yeah.
Yes, we did. It was fun.
Yeah. And I went home and took a nap.
Is it actually fun?
and,
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was easy for him because it was only like a half one. But yeah.
Yeah. I went home and I took a nap and I ate
And then I
came back.
finished.
Yeah.
And then, I see where this is going. Ouch! Shots fired!
great.
Shots fired! All right, guys, what a fun episode. We ran over. I told you we would get it done, and you just kept jabbering. What a fun episode. Leave me comments, please, on what you liked best about today's episode, and subscribe, like, share, because this was fun, and actually take advantage of what Nestor said on the e-waste, the role play, and keeping some accountability and coaching, and trust the process. Till next week, my WTFers. Have fun, and
Peace
make
out.
dreams come true.
The wish is far from